Your midget lineup, J.J. Yaley from Phoenix, Dave Steele from Tampa on row 1. Bobby East from Brownsburg, Indiana, the 19. Ron Gregory out of Noblesville in the 22 car. Row 3, Tracy Hines from Newcastle, Indiana, and Drew Pollock out of Meadowview, Virginia in the 63. Row 4, Jay Drake from Val Verde, California. Alex Harris from Simi Valley, California. The 5th row, Michael Lewis from Noblesville, Indiana in the 40. Josh Wise out of Riverside, California in the 94. Jerome Rodella in the 25X. Ryan Scott in the 3 make up the 6th row. A.J. Fike in the 7th row with Dane Carter. Johnny Rodriguez and Dave Garland in the 8th row. Row 9, Wally Pankratz and Teddy Beach. The 10th row looks like this as we get ready to go. Steve Payton in the 0. Aaron Pollock in the 64. Mike Kading, Dan Trinan, who's gone to the back. Van Nill, Ryan Durst, Murray Erickson, Aaron Fike, Paul White, Matt Mayners, and Travis Roberts, the rest of your field. And we are underway. And it's Yaley quickly to the lead.
Yeah, he got a great jump off the start. Bobby East falls in right behind him. The first 3 or 4 cars single file. Everybody else back there still battling side by side.
Tracy Hines up to 3rd, the black number 11. That's one of the Mopars, the 2 Bob East cars. Steve Lewis's stable side by side into 1. As Bobby East goes to the lead.
Well, you heard J.J. Yaley say that he planned on being the lead, but right now, look, the yellow flag has come out, so maybe he did not see the yellow flag, and he got out of the throttle. Bobby East did not, but we have a car stopped on the back straightaway as the reason for the yellow flag.
Going down into turn 3 is the entrance to pit road. Looks like Teddy Beach and the Beach Boys 125 from Tampa, Florida, and Dino Tomasi's Mopar. That's the 29. And Steele gets a better start this time as we haul him off into turn 1.
Boy, Steele was ready for him, and he beats him into turn number 1 this time. Last time we saw J.J. Yaley just pull away from everybody, and look at Bobby East. Already he's challenging for the 2nd spot.
2 white cars, the 2 Steve Lewis Beasts with Ed Pink Ford motors under the hood. Here comes Yaley looking to the outside of the 29 car being driven by Steele, who was the winner a week ago at Richmond in the Silver Crown Series.
There are 9 of the Ford-powered cars, 6 of the Mopar-powered cars. This has turned into quite a rivalry between these 2 engines on the series.
Larry, we haven't seen Ron Gregory too many times in the midgets this year. He's 4th in Gary Irvin's car. He was great at Phoenix.
He was very good at Phoenix. He does extremely well on these big racetracks. They've got a Mopar-powered car in there built by Earl Gertie, and they're very happy with the way that engine runs.
The 2 teammates battling for 2nd, Yaley in the 9, East in the 19. Your leader is Steele.
Well, Steele jumped out into the lead. He's one of the best in the business at saving your tires. Look at Bobby East, though. Already he's challenging down on the bottom side. Remember, this is youth and exuberance versus a veteran there. And the veteran may think, man, I got to save these tires a little more than the young guy.
Now, at 30 miles around here, will you wear out a right rear midget tire?
I don't know. You will not wear them out. What might happen, though, is you get them so hot that they might blister and throw little chunks of rubber off, or you might get them so hot that they'll get greasy and split, and you'll lose the back end. They'll get real loose. So you have to be very careful, and you have to kind of make that judgment during the race as to how that tire feels.
Bobby East to the inside. Going for 2nd spot. He's gotten it away from Yaley for the time being. This little skirmish between the teammates, just what Dave Steele wanted to see. It allows him to drive away.
Yes, he's pulled away to a pretty good lead right now, 5 or 6 car lengths. And he has been so good on the 1-mile pavement racetracks this year. He's been pretty tough to beat in the Silver Crown cars and in the midgets.
Tires, we expect, will be a big issue all day long here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. The track temps upwards of 140 degrees. That's a tough thing to make tires live on.
Right, and none of these guys have really run more than about 15 consecutive laps up here. It was hot during practice and qualifying, but they did not put a lot of laps together, so it's going to be very difficult for them to really judge how far they can really push these cars until they actually get to that point.
Bobby East starting to reel David Steele in a little bit. Steele in the black 29 is your leader. East in the white 19 in 2nd. A little further back in the pack. Some cars skirmishing for position back there. 3 car, one of the cars involved, Ryan Scott from Brownsburg, Indiana, battling for 11th, 12th, and 13th. Back there around where A.J. Fike is, and Wally Pankratz, Teddy Beach was supposed to start there. Aaron Pollock in that white 64. He had a terrific run at Phoenix, won the midget race at Phoenix. It was part of the Copper World Classic back in the spring.
And that's an Esslinger engine, and one of the engines that has been challenging some of these other guys. That silver car leading that group is Dane Carter. He holds the 1-lap track record here in the Silver Crown cars.
Down the back straightaway, fighting for position. That's the 11 car. Tracy Hines from Newcastle, Indiana, started 5th. Right behind the 94, Josh Wise from Riverside, California. They're running 6th and 7th.
Yeah, and Josh Wise moving up while Hines falling back just a little bit from his start.
Up front, meantime, Steele has got Bobby East putting some heavy pressure on him down the backstretch. Young East to the inside in 3. We saw this a lot, Larry Rice. If you don't get to the bottom in the corners going in, you've got a hard job getting by.
Yes, this racetrack is wide open. You can enter the corner in a couple of different places, and you can exit. But really the fastest place, as it is in most pavement tracks, is right around the bottom.
Steele in the black 29 car, still out in front. East is second, Yaley is third. 8 laps are complete.
Yeah, and you can see that David Steele gave him room on the bottom. He ran up about a car width off the bottom of the racetrack and gave him the bottom of the racetrack. He couldn't make the pass down there, and they're already coming up on lap cars.
Moving by the 45 car. Paul White from Temple, Texas, taking a rare midget ride, and caution is out on the speedway. One car has spun up in turn 2 as the leaders go by. Got into the wall as well. That's the 8 car. I believe that's Murray Erickson's car out of Odessa, Texas. The Guardian Racing Beast with a Cook power plant. Welcome back to Pikes Peak International Raceway. 8 laps are on the board in the USAC National Midget Main. Back underway after that turn 2 spin involving Murray Erickson. Your leader continues to be Steele. Here comes J.J. Yaley now on the high side. He's got his hands full with Jay Drake.
Well, he certainly does. Jay Drake making a challenge there, and we were on board just for a second there with Dave Darland, who has already worked his way up from clearing the back of the pack to 15th.
Leaders out of turn 4 to put lap 9 on the board. David Steele enjoying this. The battling behind him allows him to open up an advantage. But Yaley had dropped to 3rd. He's powered his way back to 2nd. Drake has gotten by Bobby East. I wonder if Bobby East might have used up his right rear tire already.
It very may well be. You know, we talked about how careful you have to be, and all 3 of those guys in front of him have a little more experience than he does, but he was certainly fast. The other thing might be that he just, you know, he got a little loose right there, you can see, and it may just take him a little while to get that heat back in that tire. Maybe it takes some heat in his tire to get going.
10 laps complete of 30. The USAC National Sprint Cars and the USAC Well Racing Silver Crown Series still to come here today. For 3rd spot, Drake in the 71. It's one of Ralph Wilkie's cars with a Mopar motor, trying to hold back Bobby East. And a real rivalry's developed, Larry, between the Ford and the Mopar teams.
Yes, and Mopar has put a lot of effort into all open-wheel racing, midgets, sprint cars, Silver Crown cars, and they've done very well. They've come on very strong in a very short period of time. And right now, you can see that the guys are kind of changing their lines a little bit. Everybody running a little higher on the racetrack. As you get more rubber on the bottom, that rubber gets slicker, so they might move up a little more.
And also, if you run a little higher, I would think it would allow you to maybe free the car up a little, maybe not heat the tires up quite as much.
Exactly. You know, you can run different places to keep the car from pushing, and that may be the other thing they're doing up on the high side of the racetrack.
Steele all alone out in front, a couple of laps short of halfway here at Pikes Peak. The battle's for 3rd. Bobby East to the 19, trying to work his way by Jay Drake. And as those two skirmish, Drake wiggles a little. We've got caution on the speed. Oh, a big flip on the front straightaway. Huge impact and a big flip. The 3 car and the 0 have gotten together. Steve Payton in the 0, the Western States USAC point leader, and the 3 of Brian Scott from Brownsburg, Indiana. Scott went flying down through the front straightaway, and he is up through the roll cage and out. Both drivers are fine.
Well, that's great to see. At these kind of speeds, when somebody gets upside down, it's usually pretty hard on the drivers, and you can see right there, he took a hard flip, and he's going to lay on the ground. He's not feeling real great right now.
Take a look here and see what we have as they come toward the start-finish line. One car running free. He was already flipping long before he got to the start-finish line.
Yeah, look at that. He went over about 3 times while he was still in the air. Luckily, he landed on the wheels, which probably helped him a lot.
Well, I was wrong.
It's a tough thing, but he's got to run that thing for all it's worth right now. He knows Steele's not going to give him anything.
5 laps to go. Next time by, they'll get the 5 to go sign. Down the backstretch, Steele opens the lead back up again. So with Yaley smoking the tires out of turn 4, that certainly hurt him. There he goes, sliding it again into 3.
Yeah, and he was really smoking. There you can see he's smoking it. So he's not going to give up easy. He's going to go after the win, and I'm sure they're telling him that, you know, that thing is smoking a little bit. Better be careful.
David Steele has got such a touch with this race car on tape.
He's pretty phenomenal, really. He's very good. He seems to have that knack to know exactly how hard you can push without wearing out that right rear tire. He's been awfully good in the pavement and just about everything that he's run open cockpit-wise. Boy, look at Yaley. He's really sliding that thing coming off the corners now.
The car seems to have developed quite a push. Yaley has certainly leaned on it hard. And think about this. David Steele, under race conditions, his best lap, a 26:48. The pole qualifying time that Yaley posted, a 24:068.
Yeah.
So just a gap of a couple of tenths in race conditions.
Yeah, very, very. These guys both running extremely hard. You can see back here a little bit farther, these guys are really battling each other still side by side. Van Niel's getting a black flag. They're saying he's leaking something on the racetrack.
The white 33 car builder Dan Drynan running in 8th spot. These cars 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th as they race out of turn 4. 2 to go this time by.
That's Dane Carter in the silver car down on the inside trying to make something happen. Still running side by side.
Josh Wise, Aaron Fike, the 2 black cars in the mix. A couple of other cars a little further back there. Aaron Fike, Van Nil, Bud Kading, all getting into the fun and excitement. We're told that the 43 of Nil has been given the black flag, so they'll pull his scoring sheet momentarily if he does not come to go. Trouble. Car goes around. Josh Wise has spun up in 3.
Wow, everybody did a great job missing. He spun. Everybody went high. He got the thing. He's kept on the brakes and got it stopped so that nobody hit him. The guys were really on their toes.
Pikes Peak International Raceway on speed with the Josh Wise spin. We will have 3 laps remaining. They were about to take the white flag, but we revert to the last completed lap. Steele will be your restart leader. Yaley and Drake, Bobby East with a great drive to 4th, and Michael Lewis.
I think Bobby East is the guy to watch in here. He's the guy that was coming on strongest before that red flag or yellow flag, so he's going to be a guy to watch on this restart.
He is 4th in the line. There's Yaley in the 9 car, his teammate. One car gets the jump.
That was Mike Lewis. He got a great jump on Bobby East and went around him. East lost a couple of spots. He must be having big trouble with the engine on the restart.
Now they load up, as they say. You were theorizing, Larry, that the reason he had to come to pit road, they had to blow air through the fuel lines. They might have had an air bubble in that.
Yeah, they might have had vapor lock, as we call it, in there, and he didn't get a very good start on that restart, so it's going to cost him big time.
Now they'll get the 2 to go signal. Here's Yaley giving up ground to Jay Drake. They're side by side for 2nd spot.
Jay Drake got real sideways going through that corner. Where you get that car sideways, hard to keep it going straight, but this is great news for Steele.
David Steele opens up an even bigger lead. Yaley gets back around Drake out of Valverde, California in that 71. That's the car with the black-tail tank, the Mopar.
And Drake was the strongest after the last restart, and then he faded the longer the race went. I think his right rear gets hot. He goes backwards a little bit.
White flag is in the air this time by. Bobby East is back up into 4th spot. Lewis back to 5th. Tracy Hines, who's the runner-up right now in the National Midget standings, is 6th. Yaley, the point leader, by just 2 markers coming in here today. But David Steele's got this one all by himself. He is about 25 car lengths to the good now over Yaley.
Yeah, he's a 2.5 ahead of everybody and just smoked him on that restart.
2 consecutive major national USAC wins for David Steele out of Tampa, Florida. Yaley comes home in 2nd. Drake is 3rd. Bobby East, Michael Lewis, Tracy Hines, A.J. Fike, Dan Drynan, Dane Carter, and Aaron Fike, your top 10. So Steele pretty much leads wire to wire.
Yeah, he did. He led that whole thing, and he never really was challenged a lot after the very first start that we had. He got right out front on the 2nd restart and never looked back from that point on.
Steele's car, a beast chassis, Mopar power. Dino Tomasi, the car owner. David Steele shows you again his mastery, especially on the big asphalt tracks.
Yes, he's very good on all asphalt, but on the pavement, on the big pavement tracks, he seems to have a knack for keeping the car fast and straight all at the same time and not burning up the tires. And I think that's the whole key, especially on a very hot racetrack like this.
Dave Argerbright, are you there in Victory Lane?
Well, here we are. We talked a moment ago about a recurring theme. One of our recurring themes is talking to you in Victory Lane. We talked to you at Richmond. Now here we are at Pikes Peak. Were you concerned, Dave Steele, with that last caution with just 2 laps to go?
No doubt. And then, you know, look up on the scoreboard and see 9 back there. And I knew we were pretty good. Like on that red, my guys were telling me that, you know, we were kind of opening it up a little bit. And, you know, I just can't say enough about, you know, Mopar, Bob Worth on the engines, Tim Engler on the fuel injection, and Bobby's chassis. It's just, we just had a good run. But, you know, I felt that, I mean, the car was really hooked up. And I think Penske shocked, and it was just a good run. I mean, I was pretty comfortable. I mean, I knew we were pretty good. I'm not sure how close them guys were behind us, but I knew we were pretty good.
He says when he wins, he likes to get just a little bit of cocky attitude. Now, if you win all 3, you can really get cocky.
Take a look at your top 15. Steele the winner. Yaley and Drake come across the line next. East with that great drive to 4.
Yeah, he did a great job. He fell clear back to 11th on that next to last restart. Worked his way back up, but the restarts killed him.
Aaron Pike gets 10th. Tracy Hines, A.J. Pike, Dan Drynan, Dane Carter in front of Aaron Pike, who came from the back as well. Josh Wise gets credit for 11th after that late spin. Rodella in the 25. Johnny Rodriguez, Bud Koenig, Van Nil rounding out the first 15 at the USAC National Midget Main here at Pikes Peak International Raceway.